Right before that commercial break, it sounds like President Bola Tinubu is aware of what people say, what people are going through. And of course, he himself said it. Nigerians, or some Nigerians, are asking, is this the renewed hope we voted for? Well, I hope that indeed he will give Nigerians the renewed hope that they looked forward to when they went to the ballots, to choose him as the president at the helm of affairs of the country. Good morning. Welcome to the business side of Sunrise, Business Morning on Sunrise Daily. That's where you are now. So for the next 27 minutes or so, we'll be doing some business. Let's head out to the global space. Oil prices were a little moved in early trading on Tuesday as market participants assessed a visit to the Middle East by the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken to discuss a ceasefire offer in the region. Blinken met Saudi Arabia de facto ruler on Monday. That was yesterday. Palestinians hope the visit will clinch a truce before a threatened Israeli assault on Rafah, a border city where about half the Gaza Strip population is sheltering. The ceasefire offer delivered to Hamas last week by Qatari and Egyptian mediators awaits a reply from militants who say they want more guarantees if it will bring an end to the 4-month-old war. Looking at the prices now, Brent is gained 0.15% at $78.10 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures also gained 0.12% to $72.86 a barrel. Both benchmarks gained nearly 1% on Monday, rising for the first time in 4 sessions. Still staying on the global space now, let's see what's happening with grains as soybean futures slid on Tuesday, trading close to the previous session's lowest level in more than 3 years amid expectations of ample supplies. Corn and wheat edge higher as traders adjusted positions ahead of key reports on demand and supplies expected later this week. The most active soybean contracts on the Chicago Board of Trade fell 0.1% to $11.95 a barrel. Corn added 0.2% to $4.43 for half a bushel, and wheat gained 0.5% to $5.93 for a bushel. Soybeans dropped to their lowest level since December 2020 on Monday at $11.79 for half a bushel. In the agricultural market, the focus is on a slew of government reports slated to be released on Thursday. Well, we'll come to Nigeria now. A lot of things happening. First, the African Development Bank is set to commence the disbursement of $540 million in the first phase of 8 states in Nigeria for the development of special agro-industrial processing zones. And this was disclosed when a delegation of the bank and the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO, presented their separate reports on the status of projects being executed in Nigeria to Vice President Kashim Shettima at the presidential villa. The Vice President asked for immediate action, saying it is time for the government and its development partners to walk the talk and ensure food security in line with the vision of President Bola Tinubu for the Nigerian people. Speaking after the meeting, the officials of the bank initiative says it is aimed at turning the rural landscape into economic zones of prosperity and harnessing the power of commercial agriculture and food. Certainly when we have things like this and they are implemented successfully, we will not have the protests such as the one we had in Niger State yesterday. And of course, we do hope that it is being curbed, nipped in the bud, so it doesn't spread to other states. Now, the executive director of the Nigeria Export Promotion Council, Mrs. Noye Ayeni, has been speaking on her plans to grow the nation's non-oil exports. She was speaking during an interview with reporters. Ms. Ayeni explains that value addition for all export products will form part of the council's strategies to achieve its Double Your Export initiative.
What we did in the council in recent times is to identify the top 20 products based on the level of production in the country and the level of demand in the global market. So we picked the 20 top products, and we want to give it intensity and attention from the farm gate to the market access. So based on that, we have the early team. We believe that with this, we should also be able to achieve our mantra of W export within 12 months to 18 months. Again, we also are working with various exporters, encouraging them to also find ways of adding value to their products. That's value addition. Because at this point in the history of our country, again, we can no longer export commodities just raw because you just earn normal price in the global market. So we're encouraging the exporters to ensure that they add value because processed commodities give you premium price in the market, in the global market. Some of the exporters already have processing facilities, and we're going to support them, working with them to ensure that through that, we will be able to increase the volume and value of our export.
Well, now talking about collaborations, Germany's Minister for Economic Development is currently in the country having conversations on skills development and export. Of course, hopefully it will be to the benefit of both countries. Yesterday, she had a meeting with our Minister of Finance, as well as Minister of Investments and Trade, and we captured that in this report. It's a meeting holding at the request of the German Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development, led by the Minister, Venja Scholz.
And also Mr. Chazo, the Director General Small Medium Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria.
The minister comes with a proposal of cooperation between Nigeria and Germany on issues ranging from development of women-led MSMEs, skills development, and talent exports between both countries.
And we also have...
Her proposals are attractive to the Nigerian government.
And we know that if we can improve the SMEs, we are immediately contributing about 45% to Nigeria's GDP. So we are coming to partner and support us in this development is a major booster to the presidential ambition to grow the economy to a $1 trillion economy and see a GDP growth rate of almost 7%. This is within a period of about 4 to 5 years. So we're really happy to have you here in support and the partnership of the agenda of His Excellency.
This meeting is a follow-up to earlier deliberations on the sidelines of the G20 Investment Summit. Look forward to the fruits of those meetings, or the meetings that the German minister will be having with her Nigerian counterpart as she stays in Nigeria. Now let's look at the commodities market and how all the changes we've been talking about, the FX rates, those multiple circulars from the Central Bank of Nigeria is affecting, the commodities segment. And to have that conversation with us is the Chief Executive Officer of Financial Derivatives Company, Mr. Bismarck Rwani. Good morning, Mr. Rwani. Good to have you on the show.
Good morning.
So last week we were, awash with a lot of circulars from the Central Bank, and then there was that interview with the governor of the Central Bank. And I think one of the most outstanding points that came out from there is the backlog, the repatriation of funds and all of that, and how the CBN has been able to cover, I think, more than 4 billion. It's left about 2-point-something billion. Would you say this is enough to win the confidence of our investors in every sector, not just the airline at this point?
Thank you very much. The thing is that paying your debts, right, is not an achievement in that sense. You've made forward commitments as a central bank and as a country. You are paying that. So thank you very much. You've met your obligations. Now, the point that investors are looking at, do you have the capacity to meet future obligations when you enter into them? These obligations had matured a long time ago under the old central bank governor. They were not met. They were rolled over and whatever. So I think, firstly, it is good that the central bank governor has come out to say this is the position. They carried out a forensic audit. They found out that some of the documents lacked authenticity, and those that are authentic are being paid. The question remains that in the face of declining oil revenue, in the face of declining commodity prices globally, will Nigeria be in a position, one, to meet its immediate obligations, and two, to meet commitments that have actually that will mature in the near term? I think that is the issue. And what I think the central bank governor is doing, one, is to announce the policies that are required to sustain this path, but two, also to clean house, to make sure that internal infractions by conniving banks and speculators are eliminated. Having said that, the big question is, where are we going to find the new money to meet our growth aspirations? We want to grow this economy to $1 trillion in 8 years. That means we have to grow at about 8% a year. And therefore, we need to fix some of the infrastructure gap that we have. Those are the key things, both short-term, medium-term, and long-term.
So you talked about new money, and unfortunately, I mean, even as at this morning, the price of oil, the global oil price is less than $80. Our production, perhaps the government is working on something to boost production, but where do you see us getting the new money? And when we look at the non-oil exports, NEPC, they've been in the news and all of that, but we've been talking about diversifying the economy for a very long time. It doesn't seem like we're having the benefits of that. So where do you see this low-hanging fruit when it comes to new money?
Well, new money comes, first and foremost, governments do not finance all their development aspirations from revenue. Revenue is only one source. If you have fiscal sustainability and consolidation, investors will come there to invest, to increase the productivity and make a return on their investment. What we are not addressing, and everybody's talking about it, is to increase taxes here, including the payment of taxes and the mobilization of internal revenue. That's only one part of the equation. To endear, to get the confidence of investors, you have to reform the institutions and make things look much more transparent. That is the real challenge. Today, the price of oil has declined to about $78 or $78, which is about the benchmark price. But your production is well at about 1.3, 1.4. So there's a shortfall on your production. Your production target was 1.78. Therefore, there's already ab initio there's a shortfall. Secondly, because you have backlogs and commitment which you have not met, you have also borrowed some money. The new deal from the African Development Bank means we pledged 90,000 barrels of oil a day, and we pledge this. Therefore, the shortfall on your cash flow is imminent, and it's going to happen. Those things have to be put together. That's why I say we need new money. We need to sit down with the International Monetary Fund to craft out a policy which would be attractive to potential investors and debt holders, bondholders for Nigeria. We meet the rating agencies. Once you do all of these things, you'll find that new investments begin to come in, including some of the domestic investment which will actually consolidate the growth path and trajectory of this economy. Definitely, there's some hope at the end of the tunnel, but there's a lot of work to be done now. It's more than photo opportunities. It is now the hard work and the heavy lifting.
And until these things are done, I guess we'll keep seeing the squeeze on purchasing power, and unfortunately, protests such as the one that we had yesterday in Minna, which we fear, and hope that is being curbed so that it doesn't spread. I mean, people are getting so squeezed, they cannot but speak out and protest.
Yes, that is true. The spillover effect of cost of living crisis, and it's not just in Nigeria. There's a cost of living crisis. People do not like that. And when they do not see evidence of the belt tightening, both at the public and public space, then that makes them more irritated. And an irritable man is very sensitive, and he becomes angry. And if an angry man is also hungry, then it's a recipe for chaos. So what you have to do is not just quell the riots, but to go to the root cause and understand how you deal with this, including what you want to say, the wage review. I've heard a few governors talk about palliatives. Palliatives are temporary temporary relief and that does not address the fundamental and the root cause of this crisis. So we need to do that. And if you look at domestic prices in the slides you have there, the rice has gone all the way to 75,000 naira a bag for the imported rice. And after we've had all the rice pyramids of the past, and you see that the price of flour at this time of the year, it's now up to the flour price is 75,000 naira, and sugar at 70,000 naira. So sugar goes into bread, flour goes into bread, baking powder goes into bread, and so the price of a loaf of bread is going to be, probably unaffordable to the ordinary man. Now, if you go to yams, the same thing is happening. If you go to beans, the same thing is happening. So that is why people are getting really tired and exasperated because of, one, hopelessness, two, the cost is going up, costs are rising, and three, there's ostentatious living by people in public space at a time of sacrifice.
Well, sacrifice, but the president has promised us that he will not disappoint Nigerians. The hope for a renewed hope will not be killed. That's what he said. I mean, we had that track this morning from the Sunrise team. So we do hope to see that. But thank you so much, Mr. Bismarck Rwani, Chief Executive Officer of Financial Derivatives Company.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we'll move right up. Still following up on some of the activities or those statements from the Central Bank of Nigeria last week. We know that one of that affects customs duties. We saw that efforts to unify FX rates. We saw that the customs duties, their rate has gone up to about 1,356 naira for a dollar. And of course, that will affect imports and affect consumption. Let's have for this conversation now Dr. Muda Yu. We know him as the Chief Executive Officer of CPPE, but he's also a member of the board of the Customs. And then also we have joining us for this conversation a former Chairman, Association of Licensed Customs Agents in Seme Border. We have Mr. Lasisi Fanu joining us for this conversation. Do we have Mr. Fanu? Good morning, Mr. Fanu. Mr. Fanu. Can you hear me, Mr. Fanu?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
So can you confirm to us, you have a first-hand interaction with the customs duty rate. What's the rate now, and when did it change?
The rate now is actually 1.413. 0.62 to $1.
Say that again. That's 1,004. Did you say 1,400?
Yeah, 1,400 and 1,413 naira 0.62 to $1
for a dollar. So not even 1,350, because there was a story that
was second of February, about 5 days or 6 days ago. That change came up to 1,356 to $1. We were crying, shouting, and all we woke up to say yesterday was 1,413. So at the 0.62 to $1. I don't know how the importers can survive in this. It is not possible. I'm just saying it is not possible for them to survive in this. Fine, we understand that the federal government, the customs, through customs, want to generate funds, but this is not the procedure. This is not the way. It is too rampant. You cannot change it like that way and expect the person who has made his calculation based on the exchange rate of probably as at December 751, he has calculated what is going to import, what is going to expend on the goods, to the landing cost. Okay, I'm going to make a profit of maybe 2,000 naira or 150,000 on a 40-foot container, for example. You now raise it from 951 in order of December. to now 1,413. How do you expect the importer to generate that money, the difference, to clear these things out? And it has been so for quite a long time. And this is why we have so many overtime cargo in the port that the importers cannot longer clear. Some abandon them because where is the fund to clear? Some of these foreigners, some of the exporters, because they are exporters to our importers. When you make your demand, they send the goods to you. For them to repatriate to get their money from these people is very difficult. You can see a lot of overtime cargo there. Custom will come up. If you cannot pay, certain time go, definitely they are going to seize it. So overtime cargo. Too much is coming up.
So, Mr. Fanu, Mr. Fanu, this obviously will spill over to consumers. How do we expect it to manifest? Is it in prices? Is it in shortage of supply? And what kind of goods can we expect to be most affected?
All goods entirely. It's not a particular kind of good. It affects all goods because all goods in the market, we are an import-dependent nation, and with import-dependent nation, what am I saying? We import almost everything we use in Nigeria. If we import everything we use in Nigeria, the price is going to be alarming, because me and you will go to the same market. We are going to buy what has been imported, how they have cleared it. Either too expensive, definitely the importer will increase his money. The importer increases his money, the consumers are going to pay with exorbitant price. Then me and you, that my salary remains the same. For me, I'm on pay as you go. You, that your salary remains the same, maybe 400,000 2 years ago, you are still earning that same 400,000. Now you take that 400,000 out to the market, you cannot even buy what you buy 3 months ago. How do you survive it? There are other things there.
Yeah, Mr. Fanu, that's driving it really down home, to where I am. But let's bring Dr. Muda Yusuf now. Dr. Muda Yusuf, good morning, sir. You are now a member of the board of Nigeria Customs. Is this a way of pushing consumers to domestic and locally produced products?
Thank you very much, Ine. First of all, let me say that I am not here to speak on behalf of the Nigeria Customs Service. The Customs Service have their own channel of communication and of commenting on issues. So please, whatever I'm saying, I'm not saying in my capacity as a member of the board. I'm saying my comments is in my capacity as the Chief Executive Officer of the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise. Now, my view about this first is about the frequency of these changes. Because in international trade, and in any business for that matter, when there is frequent policy changes, it creates a whole lot of problems for investors. A lot of uncertainty, unpredictability, volatility. Those things are very detrimental to investment. So we need some stability. Between June and now, we have had 6 changes in the customs duty dollar rate for customs import duty payment. And let me also say that the fixing of this rate is not by the Customs Service. The fixing of the rate is by the central bank. It's not the customs that fixes the rate. The customs only implements. So it is the central bank that changes this rate. And we need to also, bring it to the attention of the central bank that these things have a lot of implication for trade, for investment, for planning, and all of that. So that frequency, I think we need to check it. 6 changes in 7 months is quite a lot. Secondly, is the fact that the cost of imports is already extremely high by virtue of the depreciation or the devaluation of the currency. So if there is any window of opportunity for the government to bring relief within the fiscal policy environment is through trade. Because it is extremely difficult for citizens and for businesses when you are dealing with a situation of highly depreciated currency and a situation of high import duty at the same time. It is triangulating. Yes, we have reforms, we have to deal with the reform, we have to cope with it. But when it comes to trade, we should create some soft landing, so that the pain of the reforms will be reduced. So my appeal is that the rates that CBN has fixed for the computation of import duty, I think that rate should be reviewed to something that is much more investment friendly in the light of the current excruciating conditions that the citizens are facing. So that for me. Then the other point is the effective date of these reviews. Each time we have this dollar rate fixed or changed by the central bank, it takes immediate effect. So even transactions that are already in the pipeline that people did not plan for are caught in the web. And normally import cycle is about 2 to 3 months. So any transaction that has commenced through the opening of Form M, I think should be exempted from this kind of changes.
All right, Doctor.
Of course, that is the kind of thing that the businesses expect.
Yeah, Dr. Yusuf,
Yes.
don't you think that this now leaves the CBN in a tight corner? On the one hand, we're expecting unification of, FX rates for better planning and a more fair value of the naira. And then on the other hand, we have like this now, the import by customs agents, causing, a challenge. How do you see them balancing that as a CBN?
No, it can be done. The foreign exchange market is a different issue completely. We are not saying that we should go and tamper with that. What we are saying is that there is room for discretion around the issues of trade. This is a trade policy matter, essentially. The government can exercise discretion in fixing a rate that will not further exacerbate the inflationary situation. It's not mutually exclusive. The whole idea is to make sure that the pressure of the reform is not too difficult, too profound, too painful on the citizens. We leave the market, the foreign exchange market as it is. We are trying to unify. That can remain what it is. But when it comes to issues of trade, imports, cost of goods, cost of machineries, cost of medications, whatever we can do to reduce that, we can do that. So we can exercise that discretion by ensuring that the rate for the payment of import duty for the clearance of cargo is much less than whatever the market rate is in the forex market.
All right, sir.
And it doesn't have any distortionary effect. It doesn't disturb anything.
Okay.
It can only make life better for the citizens. I think that is the point.
All right, sir. Chief Executive Officer of Center for Promotion of Private Enterprise and also a member of the board of Nigeria Customs Service, Dr. Muda Yu. So thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I would also like to thank the former chairman of Association of Licensed Customs Agents at Seme Border, Mr. Lasisi Fanu. Thank you so much, Mr. Fanu, for your time.
Thank you so much. God bless.
Bless you too. So let's just do a quick review of the market before my time goes out of my hand. Now, I hope we have the numbers there. We have it. We have the all share index yesterday was down 0.73%. I'll say this is normal. There are no fears about it. In fact, this makes it so normal. There has to be profit taking. That's the balance in the market. Else, it might look suspicious. The equities cap is at 56.721 trillion naira. The activity had mostly red yesterday. Volume at 841.55 million, value 19.32, and deals was the only one that gained, and all of that. Sectors, the banking, the most liquid sectors, they got hit again by profit taking yesterday. So we saw it down 2.30%. Consumers also down marginally. Industrial goods unchanged. Insurance, those penny stocks, they're creeping in on us and making some gains. Top gainer, can you believe, was Dark Communication yesterday? Oh, thanks to the broadcasting industry. But that's the much we can take on a business morning on Sunrise Daily. So it's back to the Sunrise team.